Hey, what's up, guys? I was just about to get to bed here, but I wanted to touch on something that's been real crazy topic. I've been watching tons of videos on it, and I've read a lot of stuff on it. And it is the uproar about the SNES Classic and saying that Nintendo is, starving the community, or what's going on, and why aren't they just making enough? When really with the SNES, you don't really know what they're going to do yet, because this could very well just be the first wave and they could make many more. You have no idea. But judging from what they did with the NES Classic, it could happen, because obviously, as you know, they discontinued those at the point shortly after it came out. It didn't take too long. What was it, like 5 months, 4 months? Something like that. But the thing is, in my opinion, I'm just going to give my opinion on it. And to be honest, I have not seen anybody with the same opinion as me, which is crazy. Because I think that it's logical if you just think about it. Everybody wants to be all mad at Nintendo, and they want to freak out and not understand why stuff's going on. And I think sometimes, just like anything, you have to look at it from both sides. I get where you're angry. I get where you're scared because the NES Classic went out. I get where scalpers are fucking pissing you off because they're stupid and they're going to go and sell it for $400 or $500. They already have them up online, and the thing's only $80. So I get why you really want one, you're frustrated. I get that. But when you look at it from Nintendo's point of it, there's got to be more to it than me hearing, oh, well, they just want to starve the community, and they do this all the time, and they don't care about us, and blah, 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 blah. And this is not the fanboy in me talking. This is just me honestly having a logical, I think, opinion on it. And I think that you guys look at it in a very small picture, when this is something there's a lot more to it. And this goes for any company. We're talking about, first of all, a company of Nintendo that's been around for a decent amount of time now. Pretty long time. And they're obviously a huge company. They've been doing this stuff for a long time. They're not stupid. They know what they're doing, and they're not just doing something to, let's piss everybody off. And let's, first thing I was hearing was, let's let everybody argue about it so that it'll be, the top subject on the internet, and everybody will be making videos and talking about it like I am right now. Look, when the SNES Classic was announced, they didn't need to have anybody argue over it for people to be talking about it. People have been going crazy over this thing. They've already speculated, is there going to be an N64 Classic? Are they going to do anything with the Game Boy? Are they going to do this? People are already talking about it everywhere. And that's not just gamer people. That's everybody. That's anybody who played video games when they were little and they're 25 years old and up. I mean, and a lot of people even below that. I mean, everybody's talking about this thing. So I don't believe that at all. Like, I don't see how they need that strategy. They're not a new company. They're a lot like Apple, where when the Apple announces the iPhone 8, they don't have to do any kind of special advertising. People are going to be shitting their pants over the iPhone 8. They're going to sleep over. They're going to stand in huge lines. They're going to pay a ridiculous amount of money, and they're going to sell every motherfucking iPhone 8 that comes out. They don't have to do no special introduction for it or some special strategy to make everybody argue over it to make headlines. It's already going to be on headlines. Nintendo's in the same boat. It's already going to be there. So I'm like, I hear that all the time, that they're starving the community because of that. And that is, no. That doesn't make any sense to me. They have no problem getting their shit at the top of headlines. It's fucking Nintendo. Many people see game machines and just call them Nintendos. They might be looking at an Xbox and some lady goes, oh, that's a Nintendo. That's how popular Nintendo is. They don't need no introduction. And like I said, this is not me as a fanboy. This is just how it is. So that, for one, blew my mind. I couldn't believe people were saying that. Also, starving the community, I don't know. I don't own a business. But why would starving a community and wanting it to be headlines so all these scalpers are making all the money off you, they're buying your fucking product for $80 and they go sell it for $500. You think they're happy about that? I mean, it probably doesn't affect them, but I'm sure they wouldn't be super happy about it. So why wouldn't they just make enough to where they can just make all the money? And a lot of people, oh, well, they'll come out with it later. That's what they were saying to me. So they can come out with it later, and you know, people will want it even more because they'll be like, oh, that's the thing that was out. Look, they're going to sell it all now. Why wouldn't they just want to make all the money now? So what? They can sell it for $80 later? Why not just make the money now? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. What kind of a strategy is that? I don't know. Maybe I'm not a businessman, so explain to me, if you're a businessman, how that helps. If you're a very small company and you have some item that's you think is going to be the next hot thing, and you do that, you starve the community and to get it out there and get it popular, then I can start being like, okay, yup, because nobody knows who you are, and now because of the argument, everybody arguing and freaking out and not being able to get one of these awesome things you have, it's going to skyrocket, you know, up to the top of websites and YouTube videos and everything else. Everybody's going to be talking about it because you're this small company and nobody knows about. Well, now everybody's going to know who you are because everybody's talking about it. But like I keep saying, Nintendo doesn't have to do that. Now, I will say this. I don't understand. I'm sure it's not this simple, which is why I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. For one, why don't they just tweet something or make a YouTube video? Because they made a YouTube video of the SNES Classic. It was like 1:50 long or something like that. Why don't they just explain themselves really quick in a very broad, because I know they like to keep things hidden, but explain it in a very broad way to just calm everybody down. I guess I don't know why they don't do that. If it were me, I would. I'd say, hey, you know, I understand the upsetting that I understand everybody's upset, but we're trying to do the best we can to get everybody that we can an SNES Classic. And that would be all they have to say. And they wouldn't have to explain anything. But I think what it boils down to is, when they come out with a project like this, my thing is what they probably do is they have a grand total number they would like to meet. They have a goal. There's a certain amount of money they want to make. Well, they also have to take into factor that when you pay people like Konami to have games like Contra on there, when you have to pay people like Capcom to have Mega Man on there, they're going to get a cut of it. They're either getting a cut of it, a percentage, or they're going to give them one lump sum to say, yes, let me use your license on here. I want your game on my console that I'm going to make money off of. So either way, it's going to factor into that goal. So I would think that then they're going to say, okay, who's going to make these for us? Who's going to make, what company, what small company of people? How many people is it going to take to do it? Where are they going to build them at? Where are we going to do this at? And how many man hours are we going to need to do this? How many are we going to produce every single day to bring out a quality product? What are we going to do? You know, so that also comes into it. They're going to factor all this stuff in. And then they're going to come up with a grand total of, we're going to need to sell about this many units to meet that par. So another thing is, I'm sure they don't just keep building it. Like, oh, well, why don't you just keep building it, keep building it, keep building it? People were saying that about the NES Classic. You got to keep in mind that this is Nintendo. Nintendo has the Switch, and they have, I'm sure, many other things that we don't even understand. They might be coming out with a new fucking Power Glove. They might be coming out with another Power Pad again, like they did for the Wii. Or just something else. You don't know what the fuck they're doing. So you have to factor in, this is not, they're not just working on, oh, the Switch is out, now we're just going to focus on the SNES Classic. I'm sure there are projects they're working on, and I'm sure there is a timeline that they have to meet. That, okay, we have to be done with the SNES Classic at this time because we're going to start the N64 Classic. That might be what they're doing. Or at one point, maybe they did say, oh, we're going to go back to the NES Classic. But my thing is, they stopped building the NES Classic to start production for the SNES Classic. And now they're going to do it again and probably go to the N64 Classic. That's my own personal belief. But if that happens or not, whatever. But even if it's not the N64 Classic or whatever, dude, they could be working on many things, and you need to understand that. It's not that they want to starve the community and they want to piss everybody off. It's that they can only do so much. They can only put so many men on a job that they're going to pay this much money towards, or that they have a contract for, until they have to pay for another contract and it's going to come out of it. It's a lot bigger picture than that. You know, the shipping and handling of all this stuff. I mean, in a perfect world, what I would want them to do is say, look, before they start production, before they do anything, go on a website, like go to Nintendo.com or have some kind of link off Nintendo.com and say, okay, for the next 3 weeks, the SNES Classic is going to be on pre-order. Everybody who wants an SNES Classic, go and get it right now. If you don't get it after those 3 weeks, we don't know if you're going to get one. We're going to build a little bit extra to produce, but that's it. Then we're done. We're going to discontinue it. If they would just say that off the bat and get a grand total, I wish they could just do something like that, because then that would get rid of the scalpers. A scalper could go and buy fucking 10 of them. That's fine. Go pay for 10 of them. But then all these other individual people, they can get their one that they want. Like myself, I could just get the one. That'd be it. Now, I had the luck of getting one. And that's not why I'm on their side. That's not why I'm not angry, to be honest. I already have pretty much all the games on the thing. I didn't really need it. It's more of a collector's. I think it's cool to have. I have the NES Classic that I got at its release also. I got lucky enough to get that. And that's not why I'm on their side. But it's just people, I feel like, don't look at the business side of things. They think out of anger because they didn't get it, because they're pissed off. You have to look at it from their side of it. I'm sure if there was more money to be made, if it was that simple, they would just do it. Of course they'd fucking do it. I mean, I bet you if we were talking about the Sega, because the Sega wants to come out with a new one every single time Nintendo comes out with one, or Atari or whatever, they'll make as much as you fucking want, because they're not working on anything else. All they do is give out their licenses to everybody. Oh, you want to make a new fucking Sonic game? Cool. You want to make Sonic Mania? Cool. Pay me this much money. Do whatever you want with it. They're not doing anything. If they went into production and they were building small Genesises and they were selling them with some games on it and they already had it all figured out, I'm sure they would build as much as they wanted. Because if everybody was buying them like that, of course they would. They don't have a whole lot going on. You're talking about Nintendo. It's no different than Apple. It's no different than Microsoft. It's a huge fucking company, man. They're working on many, many things. It's like Apple. They're not just working on phones, man. They got computers. They got all kinds of fucking shit. They're working on... They probably have thoughts on what the iPhone 9 is going to be. You know, just like Nintendo. I'm sure Nintendo already has what the next console might be. They might already have an idea of what they're going to do while the Switch is riding out. You know, and then they have people working on the Switch. They have people working on games for the Switch. They have so much shit going on. They might already have a great idea of what the N64 Classic's going to have on it, if they're going to do it. You know, there's just a lot more going on that I think people don't understand. And you don't give them enough credit for. They've failed on systems, and they're okay. The Wii U was terrible. It did terrible. Guess what? The company's fine. That's how good they are. That's how big they are. That's how much money they are. I think they know what the fuck they're doing. People give them no credit. People are all saying, oh, I'm not going to buy any more Nintendo products. Yes, you fucking will. Just stop. Like, people are acting like children. But it's, I think you need to think more logical about it. If I'm wrong, and you think I'm completely fucking wrong, and you own a business, or you know a lot about business, or you just have a different opinion, leave the comment. I would love to read it. I'm not here to argue with you. This is just my opinion. But it's something that I felt like I had to make a video about. I have been watching videos of just people bashing and bashing and bashing, and every single time somebody's bashing, it's because they didn't get one. I have a feeling if you had one, you would think more logical because you wouldn't be so angry. I think people are extremely angry, so they're letting their heads go crazy. So let me know what you think, but that's what I think it is on it. So call me Nintendo fanboy. You're damn right I am.